Hey again everybody, City of StarCraft here for another StarCraft 2 commentary. It's actually a matchup that was sent to me at ZvT@gmail.com. I was very enthused that someone was going to send me a video to cast, because I love StarCraft not just to play it, but also to see what other people do and to cast their games. And the little chat says it looks like they might have just recently played each other, these two gentlemen. Now, in the top right, we actually have the Red Terran playing named Casper. And in the bottom left, we have a Zerg player, Zero. The Zero is actually the one who sent me the replays. I'm not sure who's actually won it because I do honestly not watch them before I cast them. I like to be just as surprised as the people are actually watching the video after it's been uploaded to see who actually won, what they actually played, and go from there. So like I said, I do not preview the replays before they send to me. Just up and cast them, see how they go, and post them if they're good, and go from there. It looks like our Zerg player is sitting at 13 supply as opposed to the 12 supply of the Terran. Income showing the Zerg player. Zero does have 2 extra harvesters at this point. Looks like he might be droning up pretty heavily at the medium moment. It's pretty standard. You know, you usually get to about 14-15 supply and then either grab your slotting pool, which we see here, or go for a hatchery. Now, I mentioned the map. Of course, it is Dutch Quadrant. They are in the diagonal positions from each other, so as far away from each other as possible. But on this particular map, the rush distances between all the bases really are not that far. And again, for Zerg players, it's a little more difficult to play this map because of the fact that Zerg players, they need expansions. They need to keep pushing forward. So, you know, they need to have other expansions, and the closest or the easiest expansion to get, unfortunately, is the expansion for the Zerg player at the front of their base. You know, so if he wants to do an early expansion or a normal expansion for a Zerg player, putting it out here is the best choice, but unfortunately you're making it even a shorter distance to your opponent. So especially being Terran, they can easily move out here, put a bunker next to your base, and possibly destroy you pretty easily. Now it looks like one little SCV's over here hiding. Got away with about 5 HP, one little zap away from being killed. But, you know, Casper's keeping him alive, possibly do some later scouting here momentarily to see exactly what Zero is doing. It looks like Zero is deciding to drop down his Roach Ward, so we're going to see a one-base Roach play, which is very good on this map for as long as you can, you know, follow it up with something. Or he might actually try to one-base Roach, destroy the rocks in the back of the base, and then end up trying to get a second base. Now, of course, as you can see here, Casper is sticking for Marines for the most part. It doesn't appear to be any quick Zergling attack from Zero, so I would actually like Casper over here to possibly bring that one little Marine and start working on this destructible debris. Yeah, it'll take him probably his whole life to destroy that, but it'll have it cleared off in a relatively quick manner, I should say, so that when Casper does feel the urge to get an expansion, that he can easily drop his, build it in his base and drop it down here and have another expansion going. Now Zero does have, of course, an Overlord over here, but south of his opponent's base. Might eventually use it into scouting, but at the medium moment does give him a little bit of vision to see if there's any type of Banshee play going directly from the Terran's base down this way and down around, so you can get prepared for it. Now, what you also might find too in a lot of higher level games is that Zerg players will tend to bring Overlords more around their opponent's base and eventually put one right here. In about the 5-6 minute mark, which was what we'd be at, use one of the Overlords, sacrifice him by clicking him inside the opponent's base. Yeah, you lose an Overlord, make sure you don't supply block yourself in the process. But the main thing about it is you're able to get a good scout. You're able to see, if he had an Overlord coming in right now, you could see that the starport and the barrack switch positions, that would tell Zerg player Zero over there that he's probably going to get a couple medevacs real quick, maybe try for a timing attack push out, or try to do some type of drop play, because again, he is Terran. it looks like Terran player is sitting on 2 racks at the immediate moment, banking a lot of resources. He could easily find two more barracks, maybe even 3. Should again use these units right here to at least destroy this destructible debris in the back of the base. For the most part, what that does is, like I say, I mean, they're standing here doing nothing. Might as well make them do at least something. Now, it does appear that there's a nice, sizable army of roaches over here. 10 roaches going to be pushing out from Zero. Try to put on some type of pressure so he can secure his expansion, of course. It does look like they're going to march up here to see that there's really not much of an army to defend themselves. And, of course, going to focus down the Marauder first, because the Marauders counter the roaches fairly well. But he's at a very bad position right here, and, of course, going to force to back out. In a normal situation, that amount of roaches could easily destroy the Terran army, just because it was mainly marine heavy, and marines die so easily to roaches. But positioning of the Terran player was much better, and plus the unit range is 5 and 6 for his Terran units, as opposed to the unit range on the roaches is 4. Now, I know it's been a while. It's been about, I don't know, 2-3 months maybe, when the roaches finally got an upgrade on their range, and it's definitely made the game much better in my opinion. +4 range as opposed to the usual +3 made it so that Zerg players have a lot better when it comes to roach play against a variety of opposing units. Now, it does appear that Casper is going to decide to do a drop here. He's got the pathing queued up to go as far away from any type of scouting units as possible. Try to get in the Zerg player's base to prevent, and in the way he's going, prevent it being scouted, so possibly do the maximum amount of damage. I do apologize there. I had a little bit of sore throat. Now, of course, as you can see, Casper is going to check the expansion backside the base to see if he went ahead and did that. And I do like this play. I really do. He's going to drop the units over here inside the expansion and then move in, so that, you know, of course, Casper Zero is unaware of what's going on in the backside of his base. Stems up, very good stem, comes up here, is going to get right to the mirror line. How many drones are actually going to go down? Looks like 2, possibly 3 drones are going down. More drones are going down. And this drop has become very, very deadly. Zero's units have got to start coming back. He's got Roach Hydra now. He's definitely got to have him come back before he ends up losing any tech structures. What Casper really needs to do is try to focus the building down, possibly the spawning pearl. But instead, he's going to run right across some Hydras, and the Hydras easily destroy the rest of those Marines right there. But yeah, he lost that entire drop, but Casper probably did a very good damage here. It looks like workers killed, a total of 11 workers killed, so definitely hurt the econ of our Zerg player here. But if you look at the most part, their harvester count is roughly about the same. You know, you got to keep building harvesters. It doesn't appear that it does appear that the Terran player is constantly building them, which is good. But by this point, that Terran player should definitely have this expansion. 11 minutes into the game, there should be no call for not being on 2 bases at this point. Now, Zero does have Roach Hydra. Roaches are really good to tank for the Hydras. The Hydras are really good at attacking from behind, because they do have an extended range compared to the Roaches. Looks like Zero's coming up here. Sacrifice that one little Roach just to come up here and see the high ground. Now, I also would like maybe possibly bring an Overlord right here, an Overlord right here. The Terran is turtled up very heavily in the back of his base here. Having an Overlord right here would allow our Zerg player Zero to get vision of the high ground here, and possibly get a nice concave around the edge of the ramp and destroy these buildings, while the Terran player would be stuck behind his buildings. So, but it does look like that the Terran player is going to be pushing out again. He's got 5 medvacs here with a handful of Marine and Marauders, and 1 tank here, I believe, does have siege mode. It does. So it's hopefully that for that Terran's sake, he does put the tanks in good positions and doesn't unsiege when the Zerg player moves out. If the Zerg player moves out when this siege tank is unsieged, then he can destroy it very easily, and you know, probably end up losing the rest of his army down here. Looks like he did grab the watchtower, so it's very good. He's going to end up having great vision of this entire center of the map. which is of course the direct route from one base to the other. So you know, he's be able to see exactly when the Zerg player does move out, and has also the vision so those tanks can maximize their range. A lot of times when you see tank play, yeah, he can reach all the way out to, we click on, well, looks like he moved out, and it does appear that he is going to be moving out completely with his army. Possibly going, looks like he's going straight in for the expansion right here. It's definitely a good choice. He's got a huge army here. Zero, unfortunately, is completely out of position. His units are probably up in his base trying to possibly get the expansion back, and as you can see, that expansion went down very quickly. Marauders do so much, and of course little drones are trying to get out there. He does lose a lot more. Now Zero gets a lot of banelings here. He can end up coming up here, and it does appear that the siege tanks are not in position yet. They have not sieged up, so these banelings can do a lot of damage if done properly. The banelings are going straight in for the Marines and Marauders at the same time. The Roaches and Hydras are going in for the main army of the Terran player, and just completely obliterates what was left of that Terran army. It might even lose this medbag full of units, but it does appear that Casper was able to get away with 4 Marauders and 4 of those medvacs still left alive. Oh, it was a pretty good engagement.